Hello everyone. Today I am going to talk about very important topic from language, that is clause. When we talk about the hierarchy in a language, we start from phoneme and then we come to the sentence. So phoneme is the smallest unit of a language and sentence is the biggest unit of a language. In between we talk about syllables, words, phrases, and then clause. So clause comes after phrase. When we discuss the structure of the parts of a sentence, we also talk about the structure of the whole sentence and the structure of the clause. In this video, I will talk about what is meant by clause, what are the parts of the clause, and the types of clauses. I hope you will enjoy it. When we talk about the structure of the sentence, we also talk about the structure of the clause. So clause is one of the important parts of a sentence, and it is the bigger unit after phrase. So clause is a unit of language which consists of a noun phrase and a word phrase. And here, if the clause can stand on its own, then it is also a sentence. So if in a group of words or in a language unit, if there is an NP and a VP, then it becomes a clause. So noun phrase and word phrase are the important parts of a clause. And in a sentence, we may have single or more than one clauses. Look at the examples below. The bus arrives in the afternoon. Now it's a sentence. And if you study the structure of this sentence, you will find there are two parts. The first part is the bus. Now here in this group of words, the word bus is the head word. And if you see its class, it is noun and therefore it's a noun phrase. Then second part is arrives in the afternoon. And in this group of words, the word arrive is the verb and it is the head word and therefore it's a word phrase. So the bus is the noun phrase and arrives in the afternoon, it's a word phrase and therefore it's a clause. The second example is Vijay has lost his mobile. Again there are two parts. First part is Vijay, and if you see the class of the word Vijay, it's a noun and therefore it's a noun phrase. And then lost his mobile. In this group of words, lost is the head word and it is verb and therefore it's a word phrase. And in between we have an auxiliary verb has. So in both the sentences, there are noun phrases and verb phrases. Therefore, they are clause. If the clause stand on its own, then it is also a sentence. But all clauses are not independent sentences. They may be embedded inside another clause. Now look at the example. Raju said that Vijay has lost his mobile. Now you will notice that a clause which was used an independent sentence above is now used as part of a larger sentence, appearing inside the larger clause, which is constituted by the whole sentence. Now here there are two clauses in this sentence. Raju said is the first clause and that Vijay has lost his mobile is another clause or the second clause. Now here the second clause, it begins with the word that. So this embedded clause is introduced by the word that and we call it dependent clause. because it depends on another clause. And the clause which does not depend on another clause is called independent clause. So this dependent clause introduces complementizers, and the word that is used as a complementizers. There are other words also which are used as complementizers, and they are if, whether, who, when, because, etc. But you should remember that this complementizers is an optional element. For example, Raju said Vijay has lost his mobile. Again, in this sentence, there are two clauses, but without any complementizers. So Raju said is the first clause, and Vijay has lost his mobile is another clause. So in a clause, either it is dependent or independent. That is more important. And according to it, we have types of sentences. When we try to understand that how embedded clauses are introduced into larger sentences, we must know the kinds of clauses, or we must know their different types. And you know that we can easily recognize the three main types of clauses, and they are noun clause, adjective clause, or adverb clause. You know that when we define different kinds of phrases, we identify it by its obligatory word, or we identify it by its obligatory element, which is the head word of that phrase. Suppose if it is the noun phrase, noun must be the head word. If it is the word phrase, verb must be the head verb. But we cannot define different kinds of clauses by the same criteria as used for phrases, even though they look similar in name to them, because all clauses are made up of the same elements. Either it's a noun clause, or either it's an adjective clause, or either it's an adverb clause. It consists noun phrase and verb phrase, and therefore we cannot use the criteria of phrase to define the clause. So the clause is classified, or clauses are classified on the basis of their functions. Which function do they perform? They are classified according to it. Suppose that a clause that functions like a noun or noun phrase is the noun clause. And if a clause that functions like an adjective or adjective phrase, it is called adjective clause. And if it functions that like adverb or adverb phrase, it is called an adverb clause. So when we say that it functions as something, we mean it can come instead of them, or in the slot where they usually come. So they are known or classified according to their function. There is another easy way to understand whether it is noun clause or adjective clause or adverb clause. Generally, noun or noun phrases or noun clauses, they answer the question like who or what. Or adjective phrases or adjective clauses, they answer the question which. And adverb or adverb phrases or adverb clauses, they usually answer the questions like why, when, where, or how. So they are known, or they are classified on the basis of their function. So thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you would have enjoyed it. Have a great time. Thank you.